Hey everybody, welcome to Sensing number 8. This is going to be Grenache blends. And I'm very fortunate today to have a very good friend, my next door neighbor, Doug, come sense with us. As you go on, we'll tell you more and more about this great golf pro I have. And if you ever need a fantastic short game lesson, he's your man. But before we get going, this is just a reminder that if you haven't had a chance to buy these wines yet, you may want to go do that. And then stop right here, start back up, because the whole intent is for us to do a virtual tasting. And these are the 3 different areas. We're always doing one grape from 3 different regions. This time we're doing one from Cotes de Rhone, Cannonau from Sardinia, and Chateauneuf to Pape from Chateauneuf to Pape. And I think you're going to really enjoy this. They've got very interesting backgrounds. Okay, here we go. Remember, the overall theme of this entire sensing is to taste one at a time from 3 different regions, so you'll learn the grape. I really believe if you want to learn wines, learn the grape. And we're going to be using the UC Davis 20-point system, and we have our whiteboard here, so we can dynamically fill it out and erase things and go back and forth. That will allow us to really sense using our eyesight, nose, mouth, as well as the feel in the mouth, not just the taste buds. And we're going to describe each dimension we detect in standard wine terminology. We've got the red wine wheel here, and you can get one on the web. They're real easy. But the results, you're really going to know this grape. And you're going to develop your vocabulary for articulating what it is you're sensing. But generically speaking, red wines and color go from pink all the way to tawny brick. Now the tawny brick is really the aged ones. And I think with this Grenache, we're going to be in this area of purplish red, dark, deep red. With the nose, I don't think we're going to have the herbaceous, vegetative, oaky, but more the fruit, floral, spicy. And the other, it can be anything based on the winemaker, those other dimensions. And again, generally speaking, the red wine categories, this one falls into full, powerful, often spicy, French Rhone. This home is the Rhone region in France, southern Rhone. But overall, Grenache is known for being one of the most widely planted grapes in the world. Full-bodied wine, can be spicy, can be ripe, raspberry, I've read strawberry. And its home now has spread to France, from France to Spain, Australia, and California. And you will see Italy also. But this first one, this is a really common wine in France. When I was on my Michelin trips, I could afford a glass of this on my per diem every night of the week, a Cotes de Rhone. The climate, it says it's more of a warm summer, and you'll hear a lot more about some unusual parts of that climate when we get to the Chateauneuf de Pape. But for the Cotes de Rhone, it is clay, gravel, the characteristics of the wine itself. From the south of France. The south of France are the Grenache blends. Chateauneuf de Pape, 13 different grapes. Most of the ones that we're sensing will be 3 or 4 different grapes with Grenache. And they have this symbol GSM, which means Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre. But Syrah's home is really northern Rhone. Some of the most expensive wines in the world are these ones you age 20, 30 years in northern Rhone. South, they're more drink now. And I also had the different grape components for the wine that we're going to have in France. The one we're having here is 70% Grenache, our wine number 1, 20% Carnigan, and I rarely ever see that as a standout grape in a wine. It's more of a blended one. 10% Sensal. It's 14% alcohol and food blend, duck. My friend in France was excited to see it went with pizza. That excited him much more than anything else. And we have here, our cheese is the soft fontina that it called for. One other thing I wanted to do was show you the region. And I'm going to walk up so I can highlight this a little bit. But the Cotes de Rhone, again, look where you are in France. You're in the southeast corner, way down there, is southern Rhone. The Cotes come from there, like Chateauneuf to Pape is a little bit south of Rouge. There's some other really great Grenache blends, Baccarat, Gigantes. I would like to do a tasting of that one of these days. Okay, we are going to stop sharing. And what we started doing a little different kind of tasting with Sam last time. And what we did is, instead of going through all the attributes of one wine and then going to the next, we just split them in thirds and went across, which made it more fun to really compare them. Mm-hmm. So we're going to do site for Cotes, and we'll switch to the next. So I'll be introducing these pretty fast here. Then we'll be getting down into the nitty-gritty. But okay, Doug, and Doug's pretty familiar with some very nice wines, as I know.
Well, I've been fortunate enough to be in the food industry, and because of that, have the ability to maybe have some wines that I probably wouldn't have afforded on my own. So I tell my wife about my experiences, but she has not experienced as many as I.
And she's envious. I hear that. So we're going to look at this against the white tablecloth, and we do have little animals running around as usual around here. But there's a couple things I like to know at this stage. First of all, what color would you say that is?
I would say light and purple, with some red tones, of course.
Purple with red tones?
Yeah.
Any different color on the tinge? Is that where the red is?
It is, yeah.
On the tinge? Mm-hmm. On that. How does it move in the glass? Does it move like it's a big wine? Does it have any tears?
No, I'm not seeing a lot of tears in my glass.
So it's like light to medium body or medium body to big body?
I would say light to medium.
Okay. I'm going to sniff it yet. Wait for that next category. Light. And the only reason most people that do 20-point systems don't look at how it moves in the glass. And I think that's crazy. Because you're starting now to get ready to say how you think it's going to feel in the mouth. And you're going to guess how big of a body it's going to have. Well, I think to see how it moves in the glass is pretty important. But I'm going to stop for a second now and introduce the second one, because again, we're just doing one category across all three, so the introductions are going to happen all at once here. So I will go. Okay, this one is fun. And what Dustin said, he went to a little wine shop. He doesn't have any big, huge wine stores down in Marseille where he lives. So we went to the wine shop, and the wine guy said, oh, you've got to have this one from Sardinia. It's a Cannonau, but that's the Italian word for Grenache over there. I never knew that. Yeah, so I had to do some more research. And this was fun because Sardinia happens to be very famous for the highest concentration of centenarians, meaning folks that are 100 or more, and a bunch of them live to be in their 90s. And a bunch of the rest of this paragraph is really talking about the attributes of this grape itself that are great for your heart. So I had no idea. And I'm now learning a whole lot more about the island of Sardinia. I think it's most interesting. But red purple color, we're probably going to see again, high in antioxidants and tannins and alcohol. It tastes like ripe berries, plum. I think plum is something to underline in these wines, I'm finding. Tannins are strong, acidity low. This one is 100% Cannonau. And the cheese we've got for it is Montego. It's one of the ones I looked up. When I forgot to do something here, well, I'll wait until we get the camera up. I need to show you the bottles for each of these. One other reminder, while we're using this white chart, so we can dynamically erase, come up with different thoughts, go back and forth. At the end, all this is going to be put in an Excel spreadsheet. And we'll put it up here so much easier for you to see at the end if you're interested in what we came up with. But the island of Sardinia, if you look at number 6 on the right, it says this whole island is a region for Cannonau. It's famous for other grapes. And accidentally, I happened to have bought a Vermentino from Sardinia the other day. And we just went berserk over it. We loved it. Sardinia is the Italian word for Sardinia. That's why it's on all the bottles. And I decided to throw in some pictures that I found. I think that was from like TripAdvisor. And it's got videos you can get. This hotel, nice furniture, nice pool, nice view of the mountain range and the ocean out there, $86 a night.
When are we going?
I just, yesterday I was looking at flights. No kidding. Okay, so we're going to stop sharing that and we're going to go, but I'm going to stop for a second. I didn't show you the first bottle. And again, in France, they don't tell you the grape, but this is the Rhone, Cotes, Rhone, 2018. Very pretty label. And the one now we're doing from Sardinia says Cannonau de Sardinia in Italian, and the region control is an Italian Riserva all'Italiano. Okay, now we'll just do the visual sensing of number 2. What do you think of its color, particularly compared to number 1?
Very similar in color.
Is it more red or?
Yeah, I think probably leans towards the reds more than the purple.
Garnet or something?
Yeah.
Okay. I think this might be a little more red, but it's still got the purple.
It does.
And how does it move in the glass?
Let's say maybe slightly more body.
Aha. All right. Now we're going to introduce number 3, and then we're going to get very serious about all of these. I need to go there. So I better go a hard time getting that one icon back there. Okay. We got 2 slides with information on Chateauneuf de Pape because there just seemed to be a lot of key factors that I couldn't squeeze onto one. First of all, what does it mean? And it means the new chateau, Chateauneuf, the new chateau of the Pope. Because back in 1308, the Pope actually moved the chateau to Avignon. The most interesting thing, I have been to Chateauneuf de Pape, and when you get to the vineyard, it's very surprising to see the whole vineyard is covered with rocks. You don't see any earth. And that really holds in the heat, but it also forces the vines to fight for water, which is supposed to make the strongest vine roots, and therefore very, very good wines. They hold heat, they're more robust, and there are 13 grape varieties. I once had an opportunity in Atlanta. Robert Parker was holding a Chateauneuf de Pape tasting, and he's like the expert on every wine. And there were a bunch of Chateauneuf de Pape geeks there, and I didn't know there was such a thing, like pen protectors, everything. But somebody asked him a question like, what were the 13? That's probably the easiest question you could have ever asked Robert Parker. He just rattled them off. The other thing, characteristics, full-bodied, seductive, gamey flavors. It seems to me like there's a fork in the road with this wine. Some of them, and I think it may be based on particular earth, as they talk about here. If it's more dirt and not the gallet, it's going to be more that heavy, leathery kind of a thing. Otherwise, it's going to be more berry. the grapes, the ones, we both happen to be able to get the same wine from France in here. And this is 70% Grenache. And you see 15 Syrah, Mourvedre, da-da-da-da-da-da. I had one yesterday at a tasting downtown. It was 90% Grenache, and the other 10 were all the other 12 grapes. They squeezed all them in. Food pairing, this is going to be bigger food. This is a bigger wine. The other thing I was pleased to look up was it's a 98E on the vintage chart. 98 on 95 to 100 is extraordinary. E, it's early maturity and accessible. So this particular year sounds like it's something that you could put away. Oh, I think that's it. Yes.
You want to show the bottle?
So tell me, as soon as I get out of here, what you think of how this looks. Oh, show the bottle, duh.
Yeah.
As soon as I get here. Now, this has another interesting factor. You'll see this on Savoy wines also. This has an imprint on it that says Chateauneuf de Pape. And it says if the keys are below the symbol, that means it's a state bottle. If they're above, it's a major negociant took the grapes and spread them out. And I never knew that until I looked that up yesterday, because I was trying to figure out what this meant.
Yeah.
And so it's really neat to see the bottles with a special imprint on it. But then this is Chateau de Rouge, 2016, everything on it. This is a product of France, so it's not all in French. But again, it will not tell you on the front anyway with the grapes. Sometimes they'll show you on the back. This one does not. Okay, Doug, what do you think about the color of this one? Is it deeper?
I think very much deeper, almost has some browns in it.
Aha.
Earthy looking.
Dark red brown. The other thing to note, just to keep track of, is all these are transparent. You can see through them. The reason I mention is sometimes when you do blind tastings, that's just a key factor right off the top, is can you see through it or not? And this, all these are transparent. How does it move in the glass?
I would say I would expect more body. Not tremendously so, but it seems to be a little more viscous.
Yeah, I think it moves like a bigger wine. But the odd thing was I was seeing more tears in number one than in that one.
I just want.
But it moves like a bigger wine. Bigger bod. All right, now one of my favorite things is the bouquet. Number one. It was more pronounced when I opened it, first of all, 2 days ago, because that would be expected, because it's been sitting in the cellar for a couple days.
Do I smell strawberry?
Whoa. I think so. Because we really move this around and aerate it. The other thing to note is it's clearly got a bouquet. Some of them you have to fight hard to get. So it's like it's
very fruity.
I think it's strong. Because that's another thing, though, is it a weak bouquet you have to fight for, or is it just saying, I'm strawberry?
It jumps at you.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. What I might do is stick with this and go down, because what I like to do right away is say, what do you think it's going to be like in the mouth? And if we keep jumping across, that'll be harder to do. Is that okay?
Fine with me.
So now that you've taken a stab, you think it's a light body, strawberry, what do you think it's going to be like in the mouth? Do you think it's kind of a finish that goes all over your tongue? Do you think it's going to drop off real fast?
I would anticipate the latter.
It's going to drop off real fast. Okay, everybody, we just can't wait. We're going to try this one. It's kind of thin-bodied in the mouth.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised because when I first opened it last Friday, early in the morning, I went berserk over it. And now I think it may have lost something, but it was pumped really well. But this one I was amazed for the price, how much I liked it.
Yeah.
And
it's
today,
good.
I don't think it's holding up. Not in the mouth. So it's still dry,
Yeah, but not tremendously dry.
slightly.
Yeah.
And the body seems short, or it seems thin,
Mm-hmm.
and the finish seems a little short.
It's quick. Yeah.
The other thing we were trying to do when we were talking about finishes on a couple of these sensings is, do you sometimes feel it in one part of your tongue, or do you feel it all over your tongue? And some of the wines varied on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But this one I'm getting some alcohol.
I do. And more in the center of my tongue, I believe.
Alcohol. And the finish is in the center.
Did you find the same?
I just thought it had such a light finish. I was having a hard time with it. The other thing I wanted to mention, I didn't know what glasses to use. And I looked up Grenache, and it said Rhone makes a Syrah glass, and that's what they were recommending. I don't happen to have Syrah glasses. And they look like
Very
these.
similar, huh?
So I said, okay, the ones I've got are the Cabernet Sauvignon ones. We'll use those. So I think it's fine. But I'm still getting, what berry are you getting in the mouth?
You think it's plum?
I don't know.
Or raspberry, maybe?
Let me go back at it.
Maybe
I'm
it's
still following
raspberry.
the strawberry in the nose.
Yeah.
And then what am I getting in the mouth?
It's still fruity.
Mm-hmm. And a little tart. Slightly tart.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fruit do you think it is? Plum, strawberry, raspberry?
I think it's raspberry to maybe blueberry.
Okay. One of these wines said something about stewed blueberries. And I have no idea what that is, but it really interested me. I'd like to know what that is. Oh, we got to try the cheese with it. And see if we like the Sardinia, because it's supposed to be good with it. I'll bump that. The cheese is very delicate.
Yeah, it's not a very strong cheese, but it's not a real strong wine. So
No.
I think it complements probably.
The other question is, do you think the nose and the mouth are in balance? Meaning the nose isn't a whole lot stronger than the mouth, and the mouth isn't so much bigger than what you thought you were going to get from the nose.
Yeah, you smell the fruits very strong, and I think the fruits are what come through in the taste.
So you think it's balanced?
As well, I think relatively, yes.
I think so. So we did the Cabernet Sauvignon tasting, and we had two wines, and they were totally flip-flop of each other. One, there was no nose in the body, was bam. I think that was the Carnival, actually. And the other one.
One of my favorite cheap wines.
Yes. Well, I think this one's going to become one of mine. I just want that Cotes de Rhone. I just have to get it when it's out of the bottle. Okay. Now we're going on to number 2. And again, this is from the island of Sardinia. It's Italiano. What do you think it's going to be like? Oh, we haven't done the bouquet yet.
Yeah.
Okay, stop now. Do the bouquet. Ooh, that's a different fruit.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's bigger.
And not, It doesn't hit you nearly as much in the face as the first one, I don't think, from a fruit standpoint.
It's deep fruit.
Yeah, maybe more on the plum side.
Yeah, I think it's tiptoeing into plum. But it's not a tart thing. Should I say sweet plum?
Yeah, you can smell the sweetness.
And it's maybe a little more complex than the first one in the nose. Because it just seems like a bigger body. I'll move it again. Yeah, I think the bouquet is a little more complex. So I've seen it for a while. Because I think if you left it open, it would start going around the wine wheel.
Mm.
All right, now here's the big question. What's this going to be like in the mouth? You'll have to, is it going to have a big body? Is the fruit going to carry over?
I think it's going to linger longer on the tongue. To me, it smells more earthy.
Earthy? Ooh, we got an earthy one? I would go with you. I don't think you get one. So that makes it more complex. Earthy, cool. Okay. I get a little tart, then it kind of goes away. Like I'm waiting for something else, and I'm not quite getting it. What do you think?
I think it's covering more of my tongue.
Okay.
I think I'm getting flavor across the tongue much more.
Bigger finish.
I like it.
Oh, good. What do you like about it?
I don't think it has a tremendous amount of tannins, and I'm not a real fan of the heavy tannins.
It's still slightly dry.
Slightly, but not overly.
And what about the fruit in the mouth?
Again, I'm leaning towards the plums.
Okay.
The darker fruits, heavier fruits.
Plum, darker fruit, darker red fruits. Heavier. And the body is a little bigger than the last one.
Certainly. Yeah.
This one, a little confused about the alcohol. I see one thing on the web and another thing on the bottle. So I'm not quite sure, because the web I think said 14 and the web said 14.5, the bottle said 14. And I'm not getting the alcohol I thought I was getting over here in the mouth. I'll try it again. But the first one, it was going, alcohol. It's a little tart. The key question is it balanced? Is the nose promising something that isn't delivered? Where's the mouth? I'm starting like some of these, the nose you're getting excited about, and then it doesn't quite come through. But I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I would say it's very balanced in that I struggled. I mean, it doesn't hit you in the face like the first one, of course, but I don't think the flavor does either. you have to work to try to figure out, you know, what you're experiencing from a flavor standpoint. So I would say.
All right. Now, this Chateauneuf de Pape.
We're going to try some cheese with it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot on number 2 to hit the manchego.
I never miss a meal.
Don't miss a meal. Go ahead, have some manchego. I think looks like it's Spanish going with our Italian wine.
Stronger cheese.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. I think it's a good pairing.
Agree. I like that.
All right. Let me do that. And by the way, the dogs are so excited, everybody. If you can't tell, they fell asleep about halfway through wine number 1. But they've been through this before. But I'm starting to like these bouquets. I'm just going to sit here and smell these for a while. Because I just love that fruit. Okay. Now, the pièce de la résistance, which means the biggie, is the Chateauneuf du Pape. And I was so excited once I had a chance to go down to Chateauneuf du Pape and stay at an inn that had like 12 different Chateauneuf du Papes. I don't know, the thing that got me, I remember just heading to the bedroom upstairs before dinner, and I could smell everything cooking downstairs. And then I had escargot. And you know, use those silver things to put the escargot, and it clanked on the plate because nobody else eats at 7:30, but moi, because I'm starving. And all these waiters, there are survivors. I'm just not really good with the escargot. What do you think it's going to be like in the mouth? Or did you already try it?
I have not tried it.
Oh, okay. Let's go back. We were talking about, this is where, to me, in the nose and everything, plum was just going. Plum. But this, I think, has more Grenache than any of those. What do you think is in the nose?
Again, it's very minimal. It's not one that hits you in the face.
It's subtle.
It's subtle yet again, earthy comes to mind. Maybe almost like leather.
If you had a red fruit, what would you pick? Monsieur?
Again, raspberry. Maybe a black cherry.
Ooh, that's good. I'm not sneaking wrong.
You know,
But
it's similar in flavor.
Is it the strongest bouquet of all 3?
Strongest, I thought number 1 as far as bouquet.
Okay.
Hit me in the face.
In your face.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
this one again is subtle yet.
good point. This is the one, if you're having an anniversary dinner or something in France, you know, this is the one you pull out, is the Chateauneuf de Pape. And they normally cost more than this one. So we're lucky. Okay, how do you think it's going to be in the mouth?
Probably fuller bodied. I'm guessing it'll linger longer, or I hope it does.
You want a bigger finish.
I do.
I do too. I've found a lot of the wines lately we've been tasting have been more minimalistic. You know, you have to fight for the bouquet and fight for it. And I don't know why. But maybe because of some of those we were going for the lower price on the spectrum. Go for it.
Seen a lot of legs on it.
Whoa.
Now. And we didn't notice it as much earlier.
14.
A little more tannins.
I like it on the sides. I like it on the sides of the tongue.
Yeah.
but still not a huge body like a big cab. It's French.
Absolutely not.
But a lot of like Bordeaux's at this age would be bitter,
Hmm.
and this is not.
No, it's very good.
More delicate. Hmm. The one I had yesterday, I went berserk over because we had like 4 wines before it.
Really.
They were all different kinds.
Mm-hmm.
We had the one, and it was like $38, $40.
Okay.
And I ordered 6 bottles because I just went berserk over it. But it had, I think, a bigger body than this one does. But my question is, what in the mouth is the fruit? Aside from what you got in the nose, what are you getting in the mouth now, fruit-wise?
I'm leaning towards the plums again.
Mm-hmm. This one, I think color, everything to me looks like plum. Of any wine I've ever had, we've been doing all these wines lately. That just keeps coming through to me. And it's slightly dry,
Mm-hmm.
same as the others. So this is how you really learn this one grape. Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm going to know that again. If I like the slightly dry thing, this is the wine I should get. The body is bigger than the Italian.
I don't find it to be tremendously different than the second wine we tried.
Than the Italian?
Correct.
Okay, same.
Do you agree?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I find it a little bigger. Wait, actually, this is the beauty of having a whiteboard and doing this style. You can go back and forth. I sure like this more in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's more elegant.
Yeah, the second one, when you compare them side by side, seems more acidic to me.
Oh yeah, good point. You know, this one in the mouth is what Sam would said, sit by the fireplace and sip.
Mm-hmm. Like a brandy.
He's like, oh, this is really good. I go, yeah, it's really good. The finish. Is it all over the tongue? Is it short? Does it drop off? Does it go down the back of the throat?
It does go down the back of the throat more.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
It does. It's got a little farewell.
Yeah. Very smooth.
Smoothest of the 3, right?
I believe so.
Some of them, the French ones that I don't think this has, we get to this point and go, oh, silky. Or we'll start with it and we'll go elegant. But this, you're getting into 13 different grapes. So it's just an amazing combination. The other thing I don't know, and I'll have to look it up, in the tasting yesterday of a Chateauneuf de Pape, she said they took those 13 grapes, it had 90% Grenache and then the other 10%, the other 12, and they fermented them all together. Most Chateauneuf de Papes, she said, make them separately and then blend them.
Yeah.
I haven't looked up this one because after learning that, I went, whoa, there's something else to learn about Chateauneuf de Pape.
Yeah.
I used to love Dear Telegraph when I worked for Michelin, but I'd go down all the way down to Chateauneuf de Pape on Friday before I'd leave the country to get the whites because I loved at that time Chateauneuf de Pape white. I don't anymore, but at that point, if I go up 4 hours down to get it before I left, it's kind of crazy nutso, and climb this ladder to get up there to get it. But then Dear Telegraph, the other thing I loved, and the people that lived in your house before you, the corrupted Brian with half bottles of Your Telegraph.
I see.
I had a case in 1989, and he helped me work on that case. But I haven't had it in a very long time. We said, I'm not getting too much alcohol in this one. Are you?
No.
Are you getting tart at all?
I wouldn't call it tart. No, it's more on the smoother end.
Yeah, smoothest.
Yeah.
Okay, now the question of balance between the nose and the mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plum and plum, attorneys at law.
I agree. Be interesting with the cheeses.
Oh,
If
yes.
it's able to.
Okay, I'm a little concerned because I'm not a pungent cheese person.
Nor am I.
I'm going to put a little more in here. If you want a little more, you're allowed to have some.
Thank you.
But since we forgot, because I always forget something. Okay, this is Saint Albret, and this is Port Salut. And there were the three cheeses that the web suggested. Our restaurants couldn't find domestic or grocery stores. Epoisse, Epoisse, Effiflice, Affifelice, and Pont l'Evêque, Pontleveque. So they looked it up on the web for substitutes, and they came up with Saint-Albret and Port Salut. And from what I know of them, what it said was it should be pungent. Well, I was surprised, because I thought maybe a big, robust, tannic thing you do stuff like this. But I think of a Chateauneuf Pape as a little more delicate. Go for it, fella. Here's the Saint-Albret. I didn't slice some ahead of time because it's hard to slice. But I don't usually go for pungent cheeses.
I would not call that really. Well, later on,
Oh, it got
the
you.
pungent. See,
This guy,
very earthy.
I could do this guy. This Port Salut. What is your favorite red wine?
I guess I've been more of a cab drinker, but I've never been exposed to a lot of this. So it's probably more ignorance than it is anything else.
This guy.
This is very good.
This guy's more pungent than that guy. Isn't this Chateauneuf nice?
I've enjoyed all, to be honest.
Oh, I
have
have to
not
tell
been
you.
disappointed.
I'm sorry I had to open these wines a couple days ago, and we had a mic fail, and we had to reopen them today, but I pumped them really well and put them in the cellar. But that first one for $11, I just went berserk over it when I first tasted it, because the rest of these weren't very open. I think I'm becoming a Chateauneuf de Pape junkie. This Saint-Albret is a lot more pungent than the Port Salut.
Yeah. It's
pungent.
late. It hits you.
Yeah, it's
almost
kind of
like
stinky.
Earthy and mushroomy.
But I think when it said Chateauneuf Pape had a fork, I think we got the berry fork. But it also could have to do with aging.
Yeah.
But this guy is going to with it. Okay, now the last thing I have to do before we get too carried away, all this wonderful tasting and cheesing is overall analysis. And I try to put just a couple pluses and minuses. And then here's the caveat to begin with. According to UC Davis, there's 20 points. You don't get 20 points unless you're like the best vintage, the best winery, the best, God's blessed this wine. And it's, Parker has to. So we're probably talking, and you don't go below much more like 16 or 17 because it's commercially available.
Okay.
And this system was developed for bulk wine transfers in California. they needed some way to grade them and sell them back and forth. So anyway, which was your favorite?
I enjoyed all of them, to be very honest with you. I mean, am I paying for them or not?
You're not. No. That's the whole point.
Yeah, the final wine, of course, is outstanding, but there's none of these that I wouldn't feel very comfortable buying any night of the week.
Yeah, okay. This one, I'm gonna keep getting some more of this $11.99 one because then I got shipping, unless I can find it locally, which I haven't yet. But I think that could be really, really good. I think the fact that I opened and closed it, it may just have a short open life or whatever. This one's interesting and actually has me really wanting to go to Sardinia.
Yeah.
I've been looking up how to get there from where I like to go in France. But anyway, okay, so we like this one because we don't have to pay for it. But it was also, this was like 29 bucks. It's not totally awful.
It's not terrible.
So I know what I'll do. I'm gonna put it's number 1. Which is your second favorite? And you can stop and retaste, and if you've run out,
Huh?
I'll give you some more.
I like number 1 very well. I really do. And
So
I don't know that I would have, if you didn't know, I don't know that I would have put them in the order by price as the order I tasted them.
Yeah. I think I don't know why I did it that way. I think I was trying to know them by body, but I had no idea what this one was in terms of body. But it said like 100%. So, okay. But you really like this guy's second and Lily third?
Almost 1 and 2 and 2. I'm very happy
That's
with
okay.
1 and 2.
No, I have
very
no
much so.
problem. They gotta get the same score. And then I put negative as the bouquet being subtle earthy. Is that a negative or not?
I don't think so. No.
Well, you're right.
I would put it as a neutral as far as.
If there's anything negative about wine number 3, aside from price, what would you say that is? I think from the one I tasted yesterday, the finish could be bigger, but it costs about twice as much.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not that familiar or not familiar at all with this wine, and so my expectation was, I didn't have any preconceived notions about
But it
it.
depends what you're comparing against. Here I am comparing against the Chateauneuf I had yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not comparing against these other two.
Correct.
So that's probably not fair. But it was just amazing. I happened to be at a French luncheon yesterday. It's just circumstantial. That I think Chateauneuf Pape is a great wine. But I'm going to have to go back one of these days and try another Vieux Telegraph. I don't know why it's called Vieux Telegraph. It's very odd. But they said Americans like it because it's so chewy. The most famous is Beaucastel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there once, and the funny story is they asked me where I worked, and I said Michelin. They thought I was one of the star people.
Okay.
So they just went berserk and treated us like gods. You're from Michelin. Oh. And I forgot the word for tire. It just slipped my mind. But at any rate, Beaucastel, and I'm not that crazy about Beaucastel because I think it's too light-bodied. And I think in my terms of Chateauneuf wussy. And Vieux Telegraph, well, you Americans like big, chewy things. All right, fine. So that's why I like Vieux Telegraph. So, a friend down the hill has some Beaucastel to sell.
Okay.
Louis number 2.
Yeah, I saw.
Anything, okay, so we are giving this a 1 and these both 2s. And you wouldn't mind having any of these any night.
No, I'm very happy with all 3.
I want to get one of these first ones sometime when they, again, these were open for 2 or 3 days because our microphone broke the other day. Okay, now if we're going to go with a point system that says nothing's 20 and everything's between like 16 or 17 and 20, what would you give the Chateauneuf de Pape, sir?
18, 18 and a half.
And these guys,
17.5s.
17.5. Anything else you want to say about these wines? I think you summed it up really well. You said you wouldn't mind having any of these.
No, I'm very comfortable with any of them.
Okay, then that's it, folks. Thank you so much. And I need to thank Doug. He had to walk all the way from next door. And our system actually works. I didn't have to see if we can work between here and France, but we are still going to try to do that one of these days. But thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Enjoy it.
He's got to get going because we got the golf thing up. But I'm swearing, if you want a good short game lesson, this is the pro.
Do as I say, not as I do.
That doesn't matter. It works. It really works. He helped me. I'm not kidding. Thank you so much, Doug.
You're very welcome.
Okay, here we are with the Excel spreadsheet from this sensing, and I think this is one that really became a lot of fun when the wines changed. After we recorded, the second one and the third one did change, so I'll talk about that as we go through them. The Côte de Rhone, and I say this a lot, was just a disappointment to me because when I opened it to taste it a couple days ago, it was fantastic. The aroma and in the mouth. And then we pumped it, and as we did all 3 of these because we couldn't taste the other day when we wanted to. But it really dropped so fast, and I was just very surprised. So that was kind of that issue. The in the mouth was very short finish. The body was like water. It just, I don't think it was a good choice on my part for a Côte de Rhone. The Cannonau got better and better as it opened in the glass. We started out getting everything a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger than the first wine for sure, but more berry. And as it opened up, you were getting a lot more earthiness. And I think the body was getting bigger. It may have been a little cool, but it was just delightful as that wine opened up. The third one, Chateauneuf de Pape, was always nice. It was balanced. It always had this plum thing going in the nose and in the mouth. And you could see how that would just go so well with so many different meals. But I think the real pick of the litter here and the surprise turned out to be the one from Sardinia. So anyway, that's what our findings were. I'm really curious what you guys found out if you had a chance to get these similar wines. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.